Are you brave enough to face the unknown? To step into the shadows where the light dares not tread? The night holds many secrets, and only the boldest of souls dare to uncover them. To wander into the dark, where every step echoes with uncertainty, and every corner hides a mystery waiting to be unveiled. Alex had just left his friend's house, the streets swallowed by the night. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant hum of the city that seemed a world away. The moon hid behind clouds, leaving him in complete darkness. It was as if the night itself was conspiring to keep him in the shadows, away from the safety of the light. As he reached his front door, something was off. The familiar sight of his home now seemed foreign, almost menacing in the dim light. The windows were wide open, though his parents had left hours ago. A chill ran down his spine as he called out, "Mom? Dad?" His voice echoed back, swallowed by the emptiness. He called out, stepping inside. No answer. The silence was deafening, each step he took amplifying the eerie stillness of the house. The house was unnaturally cold, the air tinged with the scent of earth. It was as if the very walls were breathing, exhaling a cold, damp breath that chilled him to the bone. He tried to shake off the chill, heading upstairs. Each step creaked under his weight, the sound echoing through the empty house like a ghostly whisper. But halfway up he heard it, a whisper from the darkened hallway. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but unmistakably there. "Alex, come here." The voice was soft, almost soothing, yet it sent a jolt of fear through him. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He froze. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, wrapping around him like a cold embrace. The hallway stretched before him, his bedroom door creaking open, revealing only pitch black. It was as if the darkness was alive, beckoning him to step inside. He felt a strange pull, stepping closer, hand reaching for the door. His fingers trembled as they brushed against the cold wood, the darkness beyond seeming to pulse with a life of its own. But then he saw it, a flicker of movement in the corner of his eye, something shifting in the shadows, his reflection in the hallway mirror, staring back at him, unmoving, and then it smiled. A slow, sinister smile that sent a wave of terror through him. Panicked, Alex bolted down the stairs. His footsteps thundered through the house, the sound a desperate plea for escape. The front door slammed shut behind him. He didn't dare look back, his only thought to get as far away as possible. The whisper returned, closer now, right behind him. "I'm already here." The lights went out, plunging him into darkness once more. Voiceover hook. Imagine walking home alone under a sky veiled by dark clouds. Sounds spooky, right? But what if the darkness held more than just shadows? What if it whispered your name, beckoning you into the unknown? Would you dare to follow, or would you run, hoping to escape the unseen eyes watching your every move? Alex's mind raced as he stumbled down the street, glancing over his shoulder with every step. The night seemed to close in around him, the shadows growing longer and more menacing. The streetlights flickered, casting eerie, dancing shadows on the pavement. Each flicker felt like a heartbeat, a reminder of the life that pulsed within the darkness. He ducked behind a tree, trying to catch his breath. The whispering had stopped, but the silence was even more terrifying. It was as if the night itself was holding its breath, waiting for him to make a move. He pulled out his phone, hoping to call for help, but there was no signal. The screen glowed faintly, a small beacon of hope in the overwhelming darkness. Desperation drove him to run again, this time through a nearby park. The trees loomed overhead, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching out to grab him. He tripped over a root, falling hard to the ground. Pain shot through his leg, but he forced himself to get up, the fear of what was behind him stronger than the pain. He looked around frantically, trying to find a way out. The park seemed endless, the paths twisting and turning in ways that made no sense. In the distance, he saw a small shed. It was old and dilapidated, but it offered a glimmer of hope. He ran towards it, praying it would provide some refuge. He burst through the door, slamming it shut behind him. The shed was dark and musty, but it felt safer than the open night. He sat in the corner, trying to calm his racing heart. The whispering had stopped, but the fear lingered, a constant presence in the back of his mind. Suddenly he heard a noise outside the shed. It was faint, but unmistakable. Someone or something was out there. He held his breath, listening intently. The noise grew louder, closer. It was a soft, shuffling sound, like footsteps on the grass. He peered through a crack in the door, his heart pounding. A shadow moved outside, its form indistinct but undeniably there. He backed away from the door, fear gripping him. The shadow paused, as if sensing his presence, then moved closer. Desperation drove him to search for a weapon. He found an old rusty tool, its weight reassuring, in his hand. He stood ready, determined to face whatever was out there. The fear was still there, but now it was tempered with a fierce resolve. The whisper returned, closer than ever. "Alex, come here." It was right outside the door now, the voice soft and insistent. He gripped the tool tightly, preparing for whatever was to come. The door creaked open, and he braced himself for the unknown. He stepped out of the shed, the darkness closing in around him. The whisper was gone, but the fear remained, a constant companion in the night. With a deep breath, he walked into the darkness, determined to face whatever lay ahead. The night was full of whispers, but he was ready to confront them, one step at a time.